My family sold my apartment without asking to pay for my brother's luxury wedding, so I let the money disappear. Hi, I'm Ryan, 34, and 2 weeks ago I sent my entire family into financial ruin, on purpose. I always knew my family saw me as a bank account with legs, but I never thought they'd actually rob me blind. I've been the responsible one for as long as I can remember. While my younger brother Tyler was buying designer shoes and building his influencer brand, I was working 70-hour weeks in international finance, paying off our parents' mortgage and covering my brother's tuition, phone bill, and somehow his dog's vet bills too. I was stationed in Singapore when it all blew up. The video call came on a Tuesday morning, just as I was reviewing quarterly reports. My mom's face filled the screen, practically glowing with excitement. "Ryan!" "Oh honey, we have the most wonderful news." My stomach dropped. That sing-song voice was her tell, like a poker player grinning just a little too wide before laying down a royal flush. She only used it when she wanted something, or had done something she knew I wouldn't like. "What's going on?" "Well, you know how Tyler's been planning his wedding to Kelsey. The wedding that's costing more than a small country's GDP?" I interrupted. Mom's smile twitched, just for a second. "It's a once-in-a-lifetime event, Ryan." "Sure," I said slowly, already bracing myself. Dad's face appeared beside hers, wearing that weirdly upbeat expression he always wore when he was about to announce something horrific. "We found a way to fund it." "What kind of way?" "We sold your apartment." I blinked. "You what?" Mom nodded like she just announced a bake sale win. "The downtown loft. We got a great price for it. More than enough to pay for Tyler's big day." I stared at the screen in disbelief. "That's my apartment. My name is on the deed." "Well, technically, yes," Dad said. "But we've been managing it while you're away, and since you're not using it." "I'm not using it because I'm working overseas to fund your lifestyle." Tyler's grinning face suddenly shoved into the frame. "Bro, isn't it perfect? Now Kels and I can have the dream wedding at that vineyard in Napa. 250 guests, live band, custom cocktails. It's gonna be epic." "You used money from selling my home." Tyler waved it off. "You can always buy another one when you're back. You make bank, dude. This way, it's going to something important." "Important?" I repeated, tasting the word like poison. "The venue's booked, the vendors are paid." Mom added, "It's all happening in 5 weeks. We're so excited." I sat there, numb. Not one of them looked guilty. Not one flinch. They really believed this was all perfectly reasonable. "Wait," I said slowly. "How did you even manage to sell it?" "My name's on everything." Dad cleared his throat. "Well, we may have handled some paperwork on your behalf. Family helping family. You forged my signature." "That's such an ugly word," Mom said, wounded. "We're family. Committing fraud is not love." Tyler rolled his eyes. "God, man, you're being so dramatic. This is about love. Don't ruin this for me and Kelsey." That was the moment something in me snapped. The old Ryan, the loyal son, the ATM brother, the silent fixer, died on that video call. I forced a smile. "Congratulations, Tyler. I'm sure it'll be magical." He grinned. "Knew you'd get it." I ended the call. Sat in the silence of my Singapore office, staring at my reflection in the dark screen. They thought they'd played me. That I'd roll over and maybe even send a gift. They had no idea what they'd just unleashed. I picked up my phone and scrolled to a contact I hadn't used in a while. "Kinley," I said when she answered. "I need a favor. And it's going to get messy." "Start from the beginning," Kinley said, her voice sharp and already in lawyer mode. We'd gone to grad school together. She knew how my family operated, the gaslighting, the guilt trips, the golden child syndrome that orbited my brother like he was the damn sun. "They sold my downtown loft," I said, pacing my hotel room. "The one I bought 5 years ago. Forged my signature. Used the proceeds to pay for Tyler's wedding." "Jesus, Ryan. That's felony-level fraud." "Are you sure they sold it?" "They think they did," I said, letting a grin tug at my mouth. "But legally? They sold something they didn't own." Kinley paused. "Explain." "Remember the shell company we set up during that real estate tax seminar? Meridian Holdings? The one you used for asset protection?" "Yeah. I transferred the apartment into Meridian 6 months after buying it. For liability reasons." She let out a low whistle. "So the condo wasn't technically yours anymore. It belonged to Meridian." "Exactly. And my parents had no idea. They thought they were selling property in my name. But in reality, they committed fraud against a registered corporation. Kinley sounded like she was about to clap. Ryan, that is the most paranoid, beautiful, genius thing I've ever heard. It gets better. Oh, I'm listening. I opened my laptop and clicked into my encrypted files. Kinley, who do you think has been paying my parents' mortgage for the last 4 years? Her silence was heavy. Then, no. Tell me you didn't. Every month. $3,100. Plus their car leases, credit cards, utilities. All routed through Meridian's accounts. They thought they had some anonymous angel investor. They had no idea it was me. Holy crap, Ryan. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. $367,000, give or take. And your reward is having your property stolen. They didn't just steal my home. I said, voice hardening. They stole the one boundary I had left. Kinley's tone sharpened. What do you want me to do? First, file an injunction. Void the sale. We have forged documents, misrepresentation, fraud. Done. I'll draft it tonight. Second, I said, sitting down. Call the bank. Cancel all automated payments from Meridian to their accounts. Cut them off completely. Ryan, that'll trigger foreclosure within 60 days. I know. They'll lose the house. Kinley was quiet. Are you sure you want to go nuclear? They declared war when they forged my signature. I'm just finishing what they started. There was a pause. All right. What else? I'm emailing you a full financial dossier, everything I've covered for them for the past 5 years. I want it organized, formatted, and packaged. For legal purposes or emotional trauma. Both. As I hit send, a new email pinged into my inbox. From Destiny@elegantweddings.com. Subject, urgent, payment processing issues. I opened it. Scanned. Laughed. Kinley, you still on? Yep. I just heard from Tyler's wedding planner. Destiny. Apparently some of the venue deposits are bouncing. Kinley whistled. Let me guess. Your parents wrote checks against the sale funds before the wire cleared? Classic rookies. And they did it with fraudulent money. Amateur hour. Vendors are about to start pulling out. I leaned back and looked out at the Singapore skyline. Good. Kinley chuckled darkly. Let the games begin. By dawn, it was carnage. I woke up to 42 unread messages in the muted family group chat, once a digital shrine to Tyler's mediocrity, now a full-blown panic room. Mom, why are the venue people saying our check bounced? Tyler, bro, tell me this is a glitch. The band just canceled. Dad, Ryan, call us. Urgent. I didn't. I just took screenshots and sent them to Kinley, who replied with a single line. And so it begins. The real fun started at 11:42 a.m. California time, 3:42 a.m. here in Singapore, when the injunction hit. Kinley called me seconds after the judge signed it. It's done, she said. The banks received the court order. Sale proceeds frozen pending investigation. They're about to find out they sold a ghost, I said. Within minutes, the family group chat lit up again like a Christmas tree on fire. Dad, what the hell is happening with the money? Mom, the bank says the funds are being held due to a fraud claim. Tyler, wait, what? Mom, did you know about this, Ryan? Dad, call US now. And then Destiny, the wedding planner, entered full DEFCON 1 mode. Destiny, hi Ryan. I'm extremely concerned. Several vendors are reporting bounced payments, and your mother isn't answering her phone. The venue has given us a 48-hour grace period before releasing your brother's wedding date. Please advise urgently. I replied. Hi Destiny. Unfortunately, I'm currently overseas and not involved in the financial planning for this event. I recommend reaching out to the family directly. Best of luck with the celebration. Then I sent Kinley a text. Guess who's about to lose the Grandview estate? Her response. BRB, printing popcorn. Tyler called 5 times in a row. I didn't answer. His voicemail played on loop. Ryan, dude, what the hell is going on? Mom's crying, Dad's flipping out, Destiny's threatening to pull out. Just fix this, okay? Like always. Like always. The moment of karmic clarity arrived an hour later when my phone lit up with a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, until I saw the area code. Napa. I picked up. Hello? Is this Mr. Gill? This is Jet from Grandview Estate. I'm calling regarding your brother Tyler's wedding booking. I smirked. Yes? I'm sorry to inform you that due to repeated failed payments and a pending legal investigation into the associated funds, we are formally canceling your reservation. The estate will be reopening the date to other clients. A letter will follow via certified mail. I paused, then said, "Thank you for letting me know. You sound calm," Jet said, clearly thrown. "I just believe in accountability," I said and hung up. 1 minute later. "Tyler, you got the venue cancelled? What is wrong with you?" "Mom. Sweetheart, please. Talk to us. We didn't mean to upset you." "Dad, you're taking this too far. This is family." I opened my laptop, pulled up the dossier Kinley and I had compiled, every payment, every wire, every fake, anonymous deposit they'd accepted. I added a little note on the cover page. "Since you're confused about whose money you've been spending, here's a history lesson. Compliments of Meridian Holdings, aka the golden goose you tried to kill." I hit send. Then I turned off my phone, leaned back in my chair, and laughed. Not because it was funny. Because I knew it was only part 3. And I hadn't even started burning things yet. By noon, I was trending on TikTok. I hadn't posted a thing, but someone else had. Someone had screen recorded Tyler's meltdown on Instagram Live the night before. Him, pacing around their backyard in socks and a silk Versace robe, red-faced and shouting into the camera. "My brother, who's supposed to be family, just nuked my wedding. The venue's gone, the planner bailed, and now our bank accounts are frozen because of some legal crap he pulled. Over one apartment. Bro, are you serious right now? You think this makes you the bigger man? You're sick. All this over a building you don't even live in anymore." The comments? Vicious. "You stole his property and you're mad it backfired? Boo-hoo. Over one apartment, dude, that was his home. Play stupid games, win felony charges." Kinley texted. "He just made your case for you in front of 2 million people. Thanks, Tyler." But the real moment, the one I'd been waiting for, came at 3:17 p.m. My phone buzzed. It was a voicemail from Dad. I hit play. "Ryan, I don't know what kind of point you're trying to prove, but you've made it. You've embarrassed this family publicly, financially, legally. If you don't drop this nonsense, you'll regret it. You've taken this too far. We're your parents. We gave you everything. Don't make us enemies." There it was. The threat disguised as guilt. The last card in their deck. And it wasn't going to work this time. I forwarded the voicemail to Kinley. "He just threatened me," I said. She replied instantly. "Record everything. Log every message. I've already started drafting a restraining order, just in case." A few hours later, I got an email from Amara, the bank's fraud officer. "Hi, Mr. Gill. I wanted to confirm we've completed the hold on all proceeds from the disputed apartment sale, pending fraud investigation. We've also identified multiple recent attempts by your parents to take out loans using your name and social security number. We denied the applications and have flagged the accounts. Just thought you should know." Identity theft. They hadn't just forged one signature. They'd been trying to monetize me behind my back for months. I sent the email to Kinley, along with a question. "How much prison time does this kind of fraud carry?" She replied with 3 words. "You ready, Ryan?" I stared at my reflection in the dark laptop screen, thinking about everything they'd taken and everything they still thought they deserved. "More than ready," I typed back. Because Tyler's wedding was the first domino. Next came the fall of the entire Guild dynasty. By morning, the house of cards was in full collapse, and I had front row seats. My email was a war zone, the venue, the caterer, the tuxedo rental place, even the harpist, yes, they hired a harpist, had all sent cancellation notices. One vendor had written in all caps, "We do not perform at events under fraud investigation. Good luck." Kinley called at 6:42 a.m. my time, practically vibrating through the screen. "Ryan, look at Facebook. Look. Now." I pulled it up, half expecting more vendor fallout. What I didn't expect was Sasha, Tyler's fiancée, going nuclear. She'd posted a massive rant, tagging everyone from the wedding planner to the dog. "Can't believe our wedding is ruined because of my psychopath future brother-in-law. Ryan Gill destroyed everything. Our venue, our band, even the florists pulled out. He's jealous of Tyler, always has been. He's rich but selfish, controlling, and mentally unstable. He sabotaged us for attention. Well, guess what, Ryan? You're dead to this family. And underneath it, the comments were not what she expected. Wait, didn't y'all sell his apartment without asking? Sasha, you literally admitted he paid your family's bills. And you repaid him with theft? Calling the guy who was funding your lifestyle mentally unstable is wild behavior. Girl, you better be hiring a lawyer, not posting IG rants. Kinley was nearly in tears laughing. Ryan. She just self-destructed online. But it wasn't just the internet that turned on them. By afternoon, my phone lit up with a text from Xander. Xander, Tyler's best man. Hey man. Just wanted to say, you were right to do what you did. I'm pulling out of the wedding party. I can't be part of this train wreck. I almost felt bad for Tyler. Almost. Until his voicemail landed. Ryan, you selfish prick. Kelsey's family is threatening to sue for fraud. I lost my groomsmen, my venue, my fiancé's crying nonstop. What's your endgame here, huh? You want us broke? Homeless? Alone? You win. Are you happy now? I played it twice, just to be sure I heard the part where he admitted everything was falling apart. Then I forwarded it to Kinley with one word. Progress. Then came the final straw. An email from the county clerk's office. Mr. Gill. We've received notification that the sale of your property was conducted under fraudulent circumstances. The transaction has been voided, and legal ownership remains with Meridian Holdings. Further action may be required depending on the investigation results. I sat back in my chair, hard hammering. It was done. The apartment was officially, legally, mine again. They hadn't just failed, they'd failed in spectacular, documented, irreversible fashion. My phone started ringing, Dad, Mom, Tyler, Sasha, all in rapid succession. I declined every call and opened a new document. At the top I typed, Statement for the press. If they wanted this to be public, fine. Let the world hear my side of the story, every last word of it. The press release hit like a thunderclap. Well, technically it wasn't a press release. It was a meticulously crafted Reddit post, complete with legal receipts, redacted bank records, and a time-stamped timeline of every shady move my family made. Kinley helped me write it. Title: My family stole my apartment to fund my brother's $400,000 wedding. So I let them. Within hours it exploded. Tens of thousands of upvotes. Thousands of comments. Screenshots flying across Instagram, TikTok, even Twitter, where some blue-check finance influencers were already dissecting the legal side of it like it was a case study. The internet dubbed Tyler Brimzilla with a god complex, and Sasha Bridezilla meets Bernie Madoff. But the real masterpiece came from a viral TikTok where someone dramatically read excerpts from my post while dressed in a judge's robe, sipping tea. They forged my signature, sold my condo, and used the money to book a 300-person vineyard wedding with imported orchids. So I froze the funds, voided the sale, and sent them a care package of every dollar I've secretly paid for them over the last 5 years. Call it petty. I call it closure. The final line? Family doesn't mean letting people rob you just because they gave birth to you or borrowed your PlayStation. Mic drop. Meanwhile, the Gill family WhatsApp thread was in full self-destruct mode. Mom. You aired our dirty laundry to the world. Everyone's talking about us. Your aunt called crying. Your cousin unfriended us. I can't go to the grocery store without someone asking about the fraud. Dad. You've ruined your mother's life. Are you proud of yourself? Tyler. Bro, delete that post. Now. Do you even realize what you've done? Kelsey's family hired a lawyer. Her dad wants to press charges. For defamation and fraud. You started this. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I got a text from someone I never expected. Xander again. Just saw your post. Damn. Look, I knew your brother was a handful, but I didn't realize it was this deep. If you ever need a character witness, hit me up. Sasha's already trying to spin this like you're having some breakdown. Glad people are seeing the truth. And then, as if the universe wanted to reward me for restraint, I got an alert from the Chronicle Daily, a local news site back home. Son files legal action after parents sell his property without consent to fund brother's luxury wedding. The now viral case is sparking online debate about financial abuse within families. Below it was a picture of the Grandview estate with the caption, "The venue at the center of the controversy." Kinley called me laughing so hard she could barely breathe. You're trending. Locally, nationally, and in at least 3 wedding forums I monitor. Did they mention Sasha's bridal meltdown? Oh yeah? Apparently she's been posting 40-story Instagram rants claiming you're emotionally unstable and on a rampage. Meanwhile, the comment section is just strangers roasting her like it's a Comedy Central special. I didn't feel triumphant. Not yet. But I did feel something I hadn't in a long time. Weightless. Like I'd finally put down a backpack full of bricks I didn't realize I'd been carrying since I was 17. I'm not done, I told Kinley. Oh, I know, she said. You haven't even sued them yet. The lawsuit was the final bullet, and I made sure they saw it coming. Kinley and I filed the civil suit on Monday morning, Ryan Gill vs. Albert and Margaret Gill, and one Tyler Gill, for fraud, identity theft, misrepresentation, and financial exploitation. We also requested restitution for 4 years of mortgage payments, credit lines, and all other support totaling $367,000. The court clerk stamped it. Kinley smiled. I didn't. The moment wasn't about celebration. It was about closure. Legal, public, and permanent. By Tuesday, Mom called 15 times in a row. Dad texted. This isn't how families solve problems. You're tearing us apart. I replied for the first time in days. You tore us apart the day you forged my name and sold my home. His response came 3 dots at a time. Then nothing. Tyler? Oh, he went live again. On Instagram. Because of course he did. He wore sunglasses indoors, looked unshaven, and kept pacing dramatically. So apparently my own brother is suing me. Me. For being part of my own wedding. Like I forged the papers myself. I didn't sign anything. My parents did. I'm the victim here. Everyone's canceling me, calling me entitled. This is character assassination. In the comments, dude, you benefited from felony fraud. You're not a victim. You're a leech. Imagine suing your brother for selling your house and people still taking the seller's side. You used the proceeds from a forged sale to book AF **ing harp player. Meanwhile, Sasha was spiraling faster than a bridal bouquet at a tornado wedding. She posted a screenshot of the lawsuit to her story with the caption, Imagine suing your family instead of healing with them. And then, chef's kiss, she started a GoFundMe titled, Help Us Fight Ryan's Lies, Legal Fund for the Truth. It had $19 by the end of the day. $10 of that was probably hers. But then came the moment that shifted everything. The police knocked. Not on my door, on theirs. See, the district attorney had been following the case once it went viral. All that evidence in the Reddit post? The digital signatures? The forged sale documents? The falsified loan applications? The DA's office subpoenaed everything. And on Thursday morning, Detective Rodriguez called me. Ryan, we've formally opened a criminal investigation against your parents. Forgery, fraud, attempted identity theft. Thanks to your documentation and the media coverage, the DA's office is taking it seriously. We may bring charges within the month. I stared at the wall for a moment. Then I asked, What about Tyler? Still reviewing his involvement. If we find proof he knowingly participated in any aspect of the fraudulent sale, he's not off the hook either. Copy that, I said, my voice flat. Do you want to testify? He asked. I didn't even hesitate. Yes. Because I wasn't just ending this for me anymore. I was ending it for every so-called responsible kid who'd been exploited into silence by the people who were supposed to love them most. And if that meant putting the Gill family empire on trial, so be it. The courtroom was ice cold and packed to the walls. Media outlets had swarmed the preliminary hearing once the charges were officially filed: fraud, identity theft, falsifying legal documents, and attempted grand larceny. My parents sat at the defense table looking like crumbling statues. Dad's hair had gone gray in the span of 2 weeks, and Mom kept dabbing at her face with the tissue like she thought maybe tears would win her sympathy. They wouldn't. Tyler sat behind them in a rumpled blazer, staring at the floor like the guilt was finally cracking through the marble of his entitlement. Or maybe he was just pissed that the wedding never got rescheduled. The judge was no nonsense. This court has reviewed over 200 pages of documentation. Let's make this simple. The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, the defendants knowingly forged their son's signature on a legal sale document, misrepresented ownership of the property, attempted to use their son's name to acquire loans, and then spent the proceeds on luxury wedding expenses for their other son. All while being financially supported by the victim for years without acknowledgement. Judge Chin turned to my father. Mr. Gill, do you deny forging your son's signature? Dad shifted in his chair. I thought it was symbolic. Not legal. That's not how signatures work. The judge deadpanned. You filed this sale through a licensed broker. We were just trying to give our son a wedding to remember. Mom sniffled. Is that a crime now? Yes, Judge Chin said flatly. When you use stolen funds, it is. Tyler stood up suddenly. Your Honor, if I may. I didn't know. I didn't know where the money came from. I thought it was their savings. The judge raised an eyebrow. Your wedding cost over $400,000. And you never asked questions? Tyler swallowed. I didn't think I had to. The entire courtroom practically winced in unison. When it was my turn to speak, I kept it simple. I never wanted this. But when your family commits fraud and then tries to paint you as the villain? When they sell your home and forge your name? You learn the hard way that blood doesn't mean loyalty. And love without respect is just manipulation. Judge Chin nodded. Well said. The ruling was swift. My father was sentenced to 18 months in minimum security. My mother received 12 months and 2 years probation. Both were ordered to pay full restitution, though the court openly acknowledged they'd likely never be able to repay even half. As bailiffs escorted them out, Mom turned to me with red eyes and whispered, I hope you're proud of yourself. I am, I said. Because I was. I didn't cry. I didn't flinch. I just stood there, finally untethered from their shame. As the courtroom emptied, Kinley turned to me. How do you feel? Like I just signed my own emancipation papers. Good, she said. Because this next part is about you. What part? The part where you stop cleaning up everyone else's mess and start living for yourself. It took me 3 tries to unlock the door to the condo. My hand shook the first time. Not from fear, just from the weight of everything it had come to mean. It wasn't just an apartment anymore. It was evidence. A battlefield. A crime scene. But now, finally, it was mine again. I stepped inside and was hit with a wave of memory. Same furniture, same lighting, same view out the east-facing window. It even smelled the same, like cedar wood and eucalyptus. It should have felt like home. It didn't. It felt hollow. Like stepping into someone else's perfectly preserved life. Kinley wandered in behind me, arms crossed. It looks exactly like it did in your photos. Yeah, I said quietly. But I'm not the guy who lived here anymore. I sat on the edge of the couch, staring at a framed photo of me, Mom, and Tyler from 5 Christmases ago. Everyone smiling. Arms wrapped around each other like we had any right to call ourselves a happy family. I tossed it in the trash. You could rent this place out, Kinley said. Or sell it. Selling it feels too easy, I said. Too clean. I want to feel the weight of walking away from it. She nodded. Closure. I checked my phone, 6 missed calls from unknown numbers, 1 voicemail from Sasha, which I deleted without listening to. Her GoFundMe had been removed due to fraudulent campaign activity. Someone had flagged it after she claimed I bribed the judge. Tyler? Silent. Probably licking his wounds in whatever influencer rehab retreat Kelsey had stuck him in. My parents? Serving time. Their house, the family home they used to guilt-trip me into bankrolling, was in pre-foreclosure. And good luck with restitution. They'd spent everything I gave them before the ink on their sentencing paperwork was even dry. Kinley, I said. What if I just disappear for a while? She tilted her head. Where to? Anywhere that doesn't have the name Gill on a mailbox. She grinned. I know a lawyer in Reykjavik. Tempting. Then I said something I hadn't allowed myself to think aloud in years. I don't think I ever really had a family. I think I just had people who benefited from my guilt. Kinley sat beside me. Maybe. But now you've got something better. What? A future. One that's yours. Outside the window, the sun was setting over the skyline. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like someone was about to call me needing money, a favor, or a way out of a crisis. The silence wasn't lonely. It was freedom. I'm going to sell the place, I said, standing up. Start over. Kinley smiled. Burn the last bridge? No, I said. I already burned the bridge. Now I'm building something better on the other side. I left the condo keys with the realtor that Friday. She didn't ask questions, just smiled and handed me the paperwork. You sure you want to let this one go? she asked. Place like this, it's a gem. Not for me, I said. It's haunted. She laughed. I didn't. Once I signed the last form, I walked out without looking back. That chapter was over. Sealed, notarized, and now listed for market price. I didn't go home. Instead, I went straight to the airport. No fanfare. No goodbye texts. Just a one-way ticket back to Singapore, where people saw me as a man and not a vending machine in a button-down shirt. I landed 17 hours later, took a cab straight to my favorite noodle shop, and ate dinner alone in silence. No phones ringing. No guilt-tripping voicemails. No Tyler asking for cash or Sasha demanding me from new burner accounts. Just me, chopsticks, and a bowl of chili oil noodles that didn't ask for a single damn thing in return. When I got back to my apartment, the real one, the one that nobody knew about, I found an envelope slid under my door. Inside, a note from Kinley. Ryan, you may have lost a family, but you gained something rarer. Boundaries. Truth. And peace. You didn't burn the bridge, you finally stopped carrying it. Proud of you. K. I folded it once and slipped it into the back of my wallet. Not for nostalgia. Just as a reminder, next time someone asks me to give up something of mine for their once-in-a-lifetime dream, the answer is going to be a clean, effortless no. Because I'm done playing the role of the responsible one who sacrifices everything. From now on, I'm the one worth protecting. 2 weeks passed. The story hadn't died, it had evolved. What started as a niche internet drama had morphed into a full-blown media case study. Every family law podcast, financial abuse forum, and bridal gossip group had dissected it from every angle. A viral clip from one panel discussion even made it onto morning TV. Some legal analyst in a bright yellow dress looked straight into the camera and said, "What we're seeing here isn't just revenge, it's justice. Financial abuse by family is one of the least talked about crimes. This man didn't just stop the abuse. He exposed it. That man was me." And for the first time in my life, people saw me as something other than selfish for drawing a line. But not everyone was cheering. Kinley sent me an email titled, Damage Control, and inside was a screenshot of a Facebook post from one of my distant cousins. You know the type, suburban, wine-loving, deeply loyal to whatever parent last bought them a birthday check. I don't care what Ryan says, he destroyed our family. Parents make mistakes. You don't put them in prison for it. What happened to loyalty? Forgiveness? Family first? The comments under it? Split. Some were siding with her, calling me cold. Others had clearly read the full story. One comment stood out. Family first is a beautiful sentiment, until you realize you're the only one following it. I printed that one out and stuck it to my fridge. Back in Singapore, my life started to feel normal again. Quiet. Clean. Number 3 crisis calls. No forged loan applications. No watching my brother live-stream passive-aggressive threats from a tufted white couch paid for with stolen money. Then came the letter. It wasn't from prison. It wasn't from Sasha. It was from my mother's sister, Aunt Michelle. We hadn't spoken in over a decade. Dear Ryan, I don't know if you'll read this, but I needed to say something. Your mother told me bits and pieces. Never the full story. But I followed the rest myself. And I'm sorry. I always wondered why you pulled away from the family. I thought maybe it was pride. I never imagined it was survival. What they did to you, it was wrong. I hope you know you didn't deserve it. And I hope, someday, you find peace. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. No strings. No expectations. Michelle. I sat with that letter for a long time. Didn't respond. Didn't toss it either. Because for the first time, someone in the family didn't ask me to fix something. They just told me they saw me. It was late, nearly midnight, when Kinley FaceTimed me from her balcony in LA, sipping wine like it was her job. Guess who got subpoenaed today? She said, raising her glass. I blinked. Tyler? Close. Destiny. The wedding planner? Yup. Turns out she filed a civil suit against your parents for professional damages. Lost clients, business reputation, breach of contract. She's asking for 6 figures. I leaned back in my chair. And she's naming me? No. She's naming them. But I'm your legal contact, so I got CC'd on the notification. She paused, grinning. Ryan, she's using your Reddit post as an exhibit. I blinked. Wait, My post is evidence. Word for word. Timeline, quotes, even your footnotes about the harpist. We both laughed for a solid minute. Internet justice is so weird. I said. Yeah, well, sometimes weird works. The next day, I went back to work for the first time in nearly a month. My team welcomed me like nothing had happened. No drama. No awkward questions. Just coffee, sarcasm, and spreadsheets. It felt safe. Normal. Unremarkable in the best possible way. And then during lunch, as I scrolled through news alerts, I saw a headline on a business law blog. Corporate structuring saves victim from family real estate fraud. The case of Meridian Holdings versus Gill. The subheadline read, Why every high-income earner should consider asset shields, even from their own family. There was even a diagram of how I'd set up the LLC. Congrats. Kinley texted when I forwarded it. You're now a financial case study in 3 law schools. And just when I thought things had quieted down, I got a text from Xander, the ex-best man who bailed on the wedding. Hey. Random, but just wanted to say I've been thinking a lot about your story. And I had a pretty intense convo with my parents about the way we treat people who succeed. You did the right thing. Even when it hurt. That matters. I stared at the message for a full minute before replying. Thanks. Still feels like hell some days. His reply came quick. Hell's better than pretending you're okay while you're drowning. He wasn't wrong. And maybe that was the clearest thing in all of this. The moment you stop pretending everything's fine is the moment you realize you've been holding your breath for years. I never told anyone what I did with the money from selling the condo. It wasn't much, at least, not compared to what I'd poured into my parents' lives over the years. After taxes and fees, it came out to just under $380,000. Enough to start over somewhere, or end something permanently. I didn't buy another apartment. I didn't invest it. I donated every cent anonymous. Quietly. To 3 organizations. One that supports adults escaping financial abuse. One that provides legal services to victims of family-based fraud. And one small, underfunded nonprofit in LA that helps young professionals set financial boundaries against manipulative relatives. Kinley found out, of course. You really gave it all away? She asked over coffee one morning, raising an eyebrow. That place was your victory trophy. It was never a trophy, I said. It was evidence. And now? Now it's seed money. For someone else to get out. She looked at me for a long moment, then just said, You're a better person than me. I didn't answer. Because I wasn't doing it to be good. I was doing it so I never had to look at that money and feel the weight of what it cost me. Freedom isn't about owning the most, it's about needing the least. The irony? Tyler posted a video that very same day on his Recovery Journey YouTube channel. Black and white. Moody music. Very I've learned and grown energy. Sometimes the people you love the most will hurt you the deepest, he said, staring at the camera like it owed him something. But healing starts with forgiveness. That's why I've decided to forgive my brother. For his betrayal. For what he took from me. I hope someday he can do the same. The comments were brutal. You literally stole his house, Tyler. Imagine committing fraud and acting like you were the one betrayed. This ain't healing, it's gaslighting in 4K. I didn't respond. Didn't send Kinley the link. Didn't forward it to Xander or Sasha's last remaining bridesmaid, who'd reached out to me with a private apology weeks earlier. Because it didn't matter anymore. They could post whatever they wanted. They could tell the world whatever version helped them sleep at night. I had no more stories left to correct. Just one chapter left to write. The postcard arrived in a plain white envelope, no return address, no signature, just a scenic photo of the vineyard that would have hosted Tyler and Sasha's wedding. I stared at it for a second before flipping it over. Written in loopy, dramatic handwriting. Hope it was worth it. You've destroyed more than you'll ever understand. No name. But I didn't need one. Sasha had a flair for passive-aggressive poetry and weaponized victimhood. Her handwriting might as well have come with its own Instagram filter. I put the card down. Didn't tear it up. Didn't frame it. Just slid it into a drawer next to old tax receipts and a watch I hadn't worn in 5 years. Another artifact of a world I no longer belonged to. The next day, Kinley and I met for breakfast. She was already 3 bites into a croissant when I dropped the postcard on the table. She read it. Snorted. Is this supposed to be a threat or a failed Hallmark submission? She wants me to feel guilty, I said. Still, she wants you to unburn a bridge that she personally drenched in gasoline. Kinley replied. Big difference. I didn't say anything. Just sipped my coffee and watched the steam rise like smoke from a fire I'd finally stopped feeding. You ever think about going back? She asked. Back where? To the States. To your family? I stared out the window. I used to think I'd have to. I said. To make peace. To fix things. But now, I think I just needed distance long enough to realize peace doesn't require a reunion. Sometimes it just requires absence. Kinley nodded. And sometimes silence is the apology you'll never get. After breakfast, I walked alone through the city. It was raining just enough to make the sidewalks shine. Everything looked clean. Quiet. Like the world had finally shut up long enough for me to hear myself think. I checked my phone. No missed calls. No voicemails. No panic texts about bank accounts or ruined weddings or last-minute vendor emergencies. Just a single email. From Meridian Holdings. Subject, account status. Your final payment to the Gill mortgage account has been cancelled and closed, as requested. No further withdrawals will be processed. Balance owed $0. 00. Remaining ties none. I stared at those two lines. Balance owed $0. 00. Remaining ties none. That was it. For the first time in over a decade, I wasn't connected to them in any financial way. No strings. No shell accounts. No hidden generosity they didn't even know they were receiving. Nothing left to give. And nothing left to take. A month later, I got an email from a financial psychology researcher at a major university. She'd read the story, tracked me down, and wanted to interview me for a study on adult children financially supporting toxic families. I didn't reply. I wasn't ready to be a case study again, not for strangers, not for scholars, and definitely not for anyone trying to turn my trauma into a TED Talk. Instead, I booked a flight to Kyoto. No one knew I was going. I didn't post about it. Didn't tell Kinley until I landed. I spent 10 days walking through temples, eating ramen in alley stalls, and journaling everything I hadn't said out loud. Not once did I reach for my phone out of reflex to check if someone needed money. By day 6, I realized I hadn't thought about Tyler in over 24 hours. By day 8, I laughed out loud in public for the first time in a year. By day 10, I wasn't angry anymore. Not because they deserved forgiveness, but because I didn't need the weight of carrying them around anymore. I never spoke to them again. Not because I couldn't. Because I didn't need to. Closure wasn't an apology or a confession, it was a choice. I chose peace over case, silence over performance, self-respect over shared DNA. I sold my share of Meridian Holdings. Cut every tie. And when people ask me about my family now, I just say, they taught me the cost of love without boundaries. Then I smile, thank them, and change the subject. Because I'm not bitter. I'm free. And sometimes freedom doesn't come with fireworks. Sometimes it's just quiet. And that's enough.